Boy, oh boy, Borderless Britain. It's fast becoming quite the ineffectual woke joke. Earlier this week, the independent Chief Inspector of Borders and Immigration announced that it found the Home Office's response to the English Channel ferry service to be ineffective and inefficient. David Neil was scathing about the Home Office's decision to delay his report, and we needn't be surprised, folks. I tell you what, given the Home Office's role in keeping us all safe, it's doing an absolutely appalling job when it comes to the essential functions of any nation state, that being the defence of its borders. Getting into Britain these days appears to be a doddle. You see, you can escape the baguettes, cheeses and wines of France to enjoy bed, board and benefits in a taxpayer-funded hotel here in Britain by throwing documents overboard before your arrival. According to a Home Office Freedom of Information request over 3 years, only 317 out of 16,500 had a passport while being processed here in the UK. Meanwhile, everyday Brits, of course, suffer the impact of a housing crisis, a healthcare crisis, a school places crisis, a dentist crisis, an energy crisis, a cost of living crisis, and on the list goes. And what's shocking to me, and believe me when I say you wouldn't hear this on other channels, but what's incredible is that time and time again, we have reminders of the threat of offering sanctuary to those who potentially don't wish us well. We know that the Manchester Arena bomber's father supported a Libyan jihadist group banned in the UK because of jihadi links, and yet his father was offered a home here. His son went on to murder 22 people at an Ariana Grande concert. But of course, not everyone coming here wants to claim asylum, wants to do us harm, but I am absolutely saying that there is a fundamental problem with the checks and balances that don't seem to be working. Many are desperate to play a part in British life. I don't doubt that for a second. But it's undoubtedly alarming to read one section of this report that makes clear that 227 migrants had escaped from their taxpayer-funded hotels between September 2021 and January 2022. In one 5-week period alone, 57 migrants fled. 2/3 hadn't had their photographs or fingerprints taken. So that's 57 people over 5 weeks that we know next to nought about, traipsing around the streets of Britain unencumbered and up to God knows what. Now, of course, I repeat, not everyone coming here to claim asylum wants to do us harm. It is the fundamental point that these checks and balances are not there. The Times reports today that the British people have potentially been misled, or that the Home Office is so utterly incompetent that it didn't notice that the problems with its policy. We've been told that to combat these crossings in what looks to be a record-breaking year, with over 15,000 migrants crossing the Channel as of July, as of this month, the Rwanda policy was supposed to deter migrants from making the crossing and from people paying people smugglers. Well, lefty lawyers and our membership of the European Court of Human Rights quickly put a stop to that. But even if it had worked, even if the whopping 120 million quid that we've sent to Rwanda had been effective, how many people could they have taken? All 15,000, you might ask. 1,000? No. The number is as low as 200. Yolanda Makolo, a Rwandan spokeswoman, despite the agreement signed in April, speaking of accepting thousands of people over 5 years, spokeswoman suggested that they currently only have capacity for 200 at one facility. So it just isn't going to work. Other measures include a drone. Get this, a drone that was released to monitor and deter the crossings, which was recently found in the sea by fishermen. You couldn't make it up. The gadget, the training, the parts and other facilities cost £420,000 of your money. That's the Sun, citing figures reported by Reuters, the news agency, actually said. If you ask me, folks, this is utterly farcical. It's like Carry On crossing the Channel. It's filled with so many areas of mismanagement that I'm half expecting, folks, to hear Sid James's laugh any minute now. And I'd be laughing now if it wasn't all so serious. Because we here, the British people, continue to be misled. And I really hope that the next government dedicates a cabinet position solely devoted to tackling the migration crisis, given the sheer scale of incompetence displayed by a government department that was supposed to seize the opportunities of Brexit in taking back control of our borders. The British people have had enough of utterly supine, spineless, simpering political leaders when it comes to issues of national security.